Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Hello, your name is Dana Hollins?
Yes.
And I understand you work for ChemRisk.
Yes, I do.
And you understand the jury's already heard about ChemRisk, your company.
If that's what you're saying is what's happened, sure.
Yeah. In fact, they've heard that y'all are basically science for hire.
I disagree with that characterization.
Well, of course you do, because they're paying you to disagree with that characterization, aren't they?
I do get paid for the work that I perform for the company that I work for.
Right, and the work you perform is coming to court to testify that Johnson & Johnson is wonderful and they don't have any asbestos in their talcum powder. That's what you're here to do.
Part of the work I do is I perform a dose calculation, and I performed that in this case.
Well, what you really do is you come in here to try and muddy the waters up for the jury. You try to cause confusion, don't you?
I disagree with that characterization.
Well, are you familiar with the Mississippi River?
Yes.
I mean, we're here in St. Louis. It's the mighty Mississippi, right?
Sure.
Did you know some people call it the Big Muddy?
If that's what you're saying, sure.
Well, I mean, that's not what I'm saying. That's what people are saying. They call it the Big Muddy because it gets all that mud and silt. And I mean, you can stick your hand a foot in there and you can lose, you see in your fingers. You understand?
Okay.
Okay, so I got a roadmap for how I'm going to cross-examine you, okay?
Okay.
I've entitled it Dana Hollins Muddies the Water, aka Science for Hire. That's you, Dana Hollins, right?
That is a picture of me, yes.
Huh. Okay. And you work for ChemRisk. That's the company that I've said is Science for Hire, right?
You did say that.
Okay, and this is the Mississippi River. So we got those two bridges that go across it. That's the arch. This is all the beautiful green grass on the St. Louis, Missouri side. See that?
I see the picture you've drawn there.
And then this is Illinois over here, and we don't give a rip about them, so I didn't put anything down for Illinois. You got that?
Yes.
All right, so these are the three barges going down this muddy river that I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about first, your job is to stir up the mud. You follow me? I know you don't agree with me, but you at least understand what I'm going to ask you about.
I see you've written that there.
Then I want to talk to you about your junk science. Would you agree with me just right now? We can do that barge fast. Your science is junk.
I disagree with that. We base everything off of extensive studies and research that's been done for a long time.
Uh-huh. Well, we'll see. And then the third thing I want to talk to you about is how wrong you are on Dr. Eagleman. You know who he is, don't you?
I know who he is, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into that. Let's start with your job stirring up the mud. Now, ma'am, I've tried to get your your actual qualifications down. You call yourself a scientist?
Yes, I am a scientist, and I perform dose calculations.
Well, I've tried to write down your qualifications as I see them. You tell me if I've got it. And this is that first barge. This is that barge of stirring up the mud. Are you able to see this on your screen there?
I see it on the screen, yes.
First of all, it occurs to me as I'm looking at your CV, I can't find your medical training. Where's your medical training?
I'm not a doctor, but I am a scientist.
Right. Where's your medical training?
I don't have any.
Zero? Zip, nada, bomb.
I took some science courses in undergrad.
Well, actually, you have a master's in science, but your undergrad is in organization management. So you're good at like outlines and stuff?
I studied organization management, but then ultimately got a master's in science, and I'm a scientist.
Well, actually, your master's in science was paid for by these people you work for that you testify for, wasn't it?
They did pay for some of my school, yes.
Well, no, what happened is they found you. They said, this is the kind of woman we need testifying to juries, so we're going to hand cherry pick her training, get her some degrees, get her qualified, so that she a woman with a BA in organization management can come in and convince these juries that the baby powder's not killing the women?
I disagree with that.
All right, well, let's talk about your job and career, because in terms of qualifications, we're done. You ain't got any more, do you?
I have performed many dose calculations and believe I'm well qualified to do that.
Because of your organization management skills?
And my master's in science, yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about your career. You work for ChemRisk, also known as Science for Hire and legal consultants, right?
We are groups of scientists that sometimes perform legal consulting.
Well, actually, I got that based on legal consultants. That's on your website.
Okay.
So you don't want to run from that, do you?
If you say it's on the website.
Yeah, in other words, y'all are telling the world. You know, it's called the World Wide Web, right?
Yes.
You're declaring worldwide to the world, we are legal consultants. I'm looking back at your training. Where's that legal training?
We get hired because of the science that we do.
Y'all were formed by a fellow named Dennis Postenbach, weren't you?
Yes.
Same guy that formed the company Exponent, right?
I believe so.
And I've looked at it. It looks to me like you've testified and worked for your company, the benzene manufacturers, the tobacco companies, the asbestos companies, the talc companies, the brake dust companies, the Aaron Brockovich cases on the bad side, I might add, dioxin, pesticides, and beryllium. Have I left out any of the toxic chemicals of the 20th century that y'all have failed to work for?
I haven't done work on all of those things, but
That's just your
ChemRisk has.
company.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just the legal consultants, the Science for Hire, that
Yes.
took you with your BA in organization management and trained you to come testify because they gave you a role, didn't they?
I do have a role at the company.
Yeah, you are someone who stacks. I don't even remember what I was making. Never mind. That's a sign we're out. I loved this. You got an email. Hire me, I'm a scientist. That's your email, isn't it?
Yes.
You give free seminars and lectures for lawyers who can hire you and give you money to go do things. That's what you do.
I get invited to talk about my science.
No, you gave free seminars. Y'all gave one last week about how y'all were going to kill us in this trial because of you.
I did give a lecture last week. Yes.
Huh. Okay, well, let's move on down the road a minute and let's talk about your junk science, recognizing how limited you are in your scientific training, okay?
We can talk about science, sure.
All right, we can stop. That's enough for here.